welcome to another episode of the Blackout Tips Podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we're live on a Tuesday, ready to do some podcasting for a little bit. Got to go to a Hornets game today, so we got an early start. But yeah, you can find us everywhere you get podcasts. Search for us, The Black Guy Who Tips. Leave us 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. Let us know what you think. Make it nice, and we'll read it on the air. The official weapon of the show is the folding chair. That's right. Start with an F.
Folding chair.
And the unofficial sport,
bullet ball.
A bullet ball extreme. All right, let's get into do you have any banter? No banter today. All right.
Other than I am feeling much better. I don't know if this is banter, but I am feeling much better. And I've been, throwing everything in the kitchen sink at this. And Roger got me some allergy medicine.
Yeah, because it seems like, I don't know if it's a cold or not. I'm not
Me
catching
either.
anything. You don't cough, really. You're not.
No,
You don't have
run.
any sore throat.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so I think it might be allergies. I know the pollen is affecting people and stuff, so it could just be some allergies. I know I there was a year or two where I had allergies and then I never had them again. I don't even know what the fuck that was about. Like, I go outside walking every day now and I don't have them.
Yeah, and I guess it just varies, or I guess for some people you're fine unless it gets like super high, or certain things get higher than normal, and then it just triggers. Because you gave me that medicine in about 30-45 minutes. I'm still blowing my nose, but it dried it up, because before it was just like a drainage drip. I was like, my nose just would not stop draining. But after that, it just kind of slowed that down. So I was like, oh, okay, it probably has some form of allergy, something,
No idea. Someone in the chat said it could be a sinus infection. That's what they had.
Ah, okay.
So I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, I'm glad you're feeling better though, even if you still a bit stuffy or whatever.
Yeah, I could deal with the stuffiness. I just didn't want to get like sick. So I'm like, hey, I can deal with that, because I'm really excited about going to the concert tomorrow to see Tyler the Creator, Lil Yachty, and I forgot who the other person is. And I'm really excited about that.
All right, me too. I'll skip my banter and save it for a day when we both have some.
Okay.
Let's get into the show. Where should we start? I guess we start with politics until we get mad. Maybe do that.
I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black.
People have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Tell you what, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go to bed.
All right, let's talk about these politics. Where do we start? Oh, man. Tiger Woods and Vanessa Trump went Instagram official. Vanessa Trump is the ex-wife of Donald Trump Jr. They had like 5 kids together or something like that.
Oh, they had a bunch of children.
Yeah. He went on Instagram after it had already leaked to a lot of people that he was possibly dating her.
Right.
He went on Instagram to put a caption up. Love is in the air. Life is better with you by my side. We look forward to our journey through life together. At this time, we would appreciate the privacy for all those close to our hearts.
That's not happening.
Now, what I think is interesting is you told us.
Right. You could have kept silent.
Yeah, like...
nobody asked for this.
Right. And it makes sense. He showed up to the White House Black History Month celebration, even though he's not he's Kabbalah Asian, not black according to him. And it also makes sense. He's been conservative. He plays golf with Trump. So I think it does kind of check out. So congratulations to them. We love to see it, I guess. Several explosive devices were reportedly found at a Texas Tesla dealership. No injuries were reported. I guess they called in the bomb threat, but it was a real threat because there was actual bombs there.
Oh, no.
Yeah. 8 a.m. on a Monday.
Damn, people just not getting into the job.
Yeah, but if you're going to do it, if I work there, do it at 8 a.m. Let me get the day off.
Yes, let me get the day off.
There was a report of suspicious devices at a North Austin dealership. The department's bomb squad determined the devices were dangerous and safely confiscated them. According to Attorney General Pam Bondi, they were labeled the ongoing attacks as domestic terrorism, pledging to prosecute offenders. I thought y'all was cool with domestic terrorists. Don't y'all normally let them out of jail?
Yeah, they normally don't matter. They know, under the Biden administration, they was like, the number one problem ain't the folks on the outside, it's the people on the inside, and y'all yada past that.
Yeah, well, I just think it's interesting because when they ran up on the Capitol, they was like, that's just a tour. That's not terrorism. Mm-hmm. They just got a little lost on the tour.
We just looking around.
But when it comes to
a 3-hour tour,
when it comes to messing up the Teslas, massive Elon Teslas, now all of a sudden we got to get Jack Bauer on the case.
We got to put our top flight security, Craig.
On Thursday, the Justice Department accused 3 individuals of using Molotov cocktails to set Tesla vehicles and charging stations on fire in Oregon, Colorado, and South Carolina. Earlier last week, an arsonist torched 5 Teslas at a Las Vegas service center, spray painting "resist" and red on the scene. Yeah, it doesn't help that the dystopian vehicles look like something the Terminator would drive. So it's just like, it really does set the scene for people to be like, I need to destroy this authoritarian
ass vehicle,
fucking rhombus or whatever it is.
That's them vehicles you can going down the road and people gonna be swinging on sticks on them bitches.
Critics of Musk have expressed growing frustration over his role in the Department of Government Efficiency and the Trump administration initiative to trim federal workforce. I don't even understand how Elon Musk continues to still have money. Every time I look up, he's in another venture that is losing money. Twitter is losing money. Now this shit is losing money. The SpaceX shit just keep blowing up. How does he still have so much money to lose? This man is so rich.
Yes, he is.
All right, let's see. What else is happening? The IRS reportedly nears an agreement to share tax data with ICE for immigration enforcement. For people that thought, that from my understanding, people who are here illegally don't pay taxes was the talking point. And now, apparently, they do pay taxes, and we want to put a stop to that. We want to get them out of the country with their paying their taxes and submitting their records to the IRS. We can't have that.
Let's start rounding people up.
ICE would be able to cross-reference taxpayer databases, which are usually protected by privacy laws. The proposed agreement would mark a shift in how federal agencies handle tax information and immigration enforcement. ICE would only be allowed to request data on people already ordered to leave the country, which with limitations on what could be accessed.
We don't believe you, Craig, because once y'all get access, y'all gonna have it's gonna be open access. Because nobody checks and balances. Y'all just do shit and be like, fight you in court later, bitch.
Career IRS officials are concerned that using tax data in this way could set a dangerous precedent, arguing that privacy law exceptions are meant to assist in criminal investigations, not immigration enforcement.
Right.
Yeah, the thing that would be interesting to me is, because I think what they believe is like, people who are here illegally or whatever who are paying taxes will simply go back to their countries, or this will enable us to catch them or whatever. And my guess is they'll just stop paying taxes.
No shit.
Like, then just fuck it. Like, there will be no records of how I get paid to stay in this country or whatever.
Yeah, go back to getting paid underneath the table.
A former IRS official remarked, it is a complete betrayal of 30 years of the government telling immigrants to file their taxes. Yeah. That's why I think this president will say is just don't file your taxes if you're an immigrant. And honestly, if you're an immigrant and you just feel like there's any question, or if you're an immigrant and you're here on the up and up, I can still see people not filing their taxes, because I don't think people believe this administration is only after immigrants who are violating the law. They keep changing stuff every day, revoking people's well-earned rights to citizenship, disregarding people's green cards.
Yep.
So I can see a lot of people feeling very confused and conflicted over this.
Yeah, and also the federal government and people, I said this, I'm going to continue to say this. A lot of people gonna find out how much the fucking federal government did for your state when these fucking revenues dry up. Because when people ain't paying taxes, that is billions of dollars that's all of a sudden just not going where it's supposed to go, not going into the local areas, not going up into the federal government. Billions of dollars that they're just gonna be like, where did this? And see, they're gonna act shocked in this process. Where did this money go? Well, bitch, you stopped the flow of money. And guess what? They're going to want to make that revenue up from somewhere. So that means everybody's taxes are going to go up. Not the people who need taxes need to go up, but the people that are barely trying to make it. Everybody else's taxes are going to go up to compensate for the people that y'all basically said, we are so racist, we are willing to let go of billions of dollars.
The richest people's taxes won't go up.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like
no, you said everybody's taxes are gonna go up. I'm
yes,
saying
except for the people that need to be, which is the people that make the most money.
Right, they taxes gonna go down.
Yes,
it's gonna be the rest of us that have to pay the tax burden. But let's see. Venezuela agrees to again accept U.S. deportation flights. It announced Saturday has reached an agreement with Washington to accept additional deportation flights from the United States 1 week after more than 200 Venezuelans accused of being gang members were sent to El Salvador. The flights were suspended last month when President Trump claimed Venezuela had not lived up to its promises. And Caracas subsequently said it would no longer accept the flights. But then Washington deported 238 Venezuelans accused of belonging to Tren de Aragua gang, which Trump has designated a foreign terrorist organization, to a maximum security prison in El Salvador, a move deeply criticized by Caracas. In order to ensure the return of our countrymen with the protection of their human rights, we have agreed with the U.S. government to resume the repatriation of Venezuelan migrants with the first flight tomorrow, said top negotiator Jorge Rodriguez in a statement. Migrating is not a crime, and we will not rest until all those who want to return are home, until we rescue our brothers kidnapped in El Salvador, said Rodriguez, who is also president of Venezuela's National Assembly. Sunday's trip will be the fifth flight of migrants arriving in Venezuela since Trump took office in January. Since February, about 900 Venezuelans have been repatriated, most from the United States and some from Mexico. So I guess their spending on their side is we're just getting our countrymen home, and on our side, we're saying they're our gang members and we're getting rid of the gangs. No idea who is telling the truth, because it's hard to believe Donald Trump and his administration,
right,
because they lie so much.
Yep, y'all just making shit up. This might be regular ass citizens.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not saying they're lying because I don't know, but I just know they have a big track record of lying.
Right, and you're not going to give us any evidence to prove it's the truth. So I just don't believe you.
Rosie O'Donnell questions why Donald Trump won every swing state, considering he is best friends with the man who owns and runs the internet. I would hope that would be investigated, she said. She did an interview with RT1's The Late Show. O'Donnell said she questions why Trump won every single swing state during his re-election campaign, considering one of his best friends and biggest donors was a man who owns and runs the internet. While never mentioning by name, she's most likely referring to Elon Musk. I would hope that would be investigated and that we would see whether or not it was an anomaly or something else that happened on election night in America when Kamala Harris was filling up stadiums with people who supported her and Donald Trump was not able to do that. So it's curious to me. And as an American and a believer in democracy, I would hope that we would be able to look at all the reasons why this happened in our country. She recently moved to Ireland to escape the current American political climate, and she stayed
because she's been very open and very vocal about that shit.
Well, she's also on his list. Like Donald Trump it's not it's an open, like it's not a secret. He does not like her, and the way he is targeting people that he has grudges against. I wouldn't feel safe being like, oh no, I'm just a comedian. Why would he target me? I don't know. With the way he's moving, I don't know.
Right, and she's openly said, people asked her why wasn't he ever on her show. She was like, no, she did her show for many, many years. She was like, I've never had him on my show. And she basically told, she was like, why? She told her why. She was like, hey, people here in New York knows he's a crook, he's a scam artist, and all that shit. Like, no, I will not have you on my show. And I think he took that shit personally.
We're still losing some of our best lesbian comedians, guys. Okay, Ellen,
they
now
going to
Rosie.
other countries.
I'm telling y'all, we got to be careful. Wanda Sykes might be out of here. He disbanded the Department of Education. I have a child who has autism, and that child will be denied services and many, many autistic children because the funding for these programs for special needs children comes from the federal government as well as states. And it's going to be disastrous for children on the spectrum, and that was terrifying. But the biggest reason that it was different than the first time he was in office because the Supreme Court giving him ultimate power, the powers of a king or a monarch, and that's not what the United States is all about, and it's a terrifying prospect. And in fact, what has happened since he's taken office has been terrifying, I think, for the world and definitely for the United States of America. Couldn't have put it better, man. And once again, I don't know what to do with the conspiracy. I do understand people's point. I'm not arguing with them. It's just not worth arguing to me. The problem for me is for this conspiracy to be true, literally, Kamala Harris, the Biden administration, all the Democrats, everybody working in the local state-wide elections, all the judges and lawyers that they had on speed dial ready to fight this thing,
and they would have,
in case Donald Trump and them tried anything.
They were watching.
All of them would have just had to stand down at the same time, like every single one of them. Like, we don't have one challenge, and it's kind of interesting in a way because it's like, one, there were still some Republicans who lost their local elections and challenged and went to the courts, and I don't know if any of them won anything yet, but it would at once require an immense amount of cowardice from every single person, including Kamala Harris, and at the same time an immense amount of coordination that the Democrats have not shown to be able to do, in which you give people a message from the top and everyone respects it.
Right.
Meaning Joe Biden or somebody says, we're not challenging this, let them win. We know they probably cheated. Let's not even look into it. And every single person, without exception, without any retort, without going to the media, zero leaks to the press, nothing. Every single person went, okay, yeah, well, let's let Trump win. So, like I said, I don't know that I believe that conspiracy. I would love to believe that conspiracy, but I have a conspiracy that I think is a lot more believable that it would have to replace. And this is just a conspiracy of being a student of reading about history in America for the last, 400 years or whatever. I do not find it to be elite that white people voted for this.
Yep.
I just don't.
And people do not want to accept that. So it's everything. It's everything in the book except for this is what they voted for.
I really, truly do believe, I wish in my heart of hearts that I could have the faith in the electorate that people who think this is a conspiracy and the election was stolen, I wish I had that in me.
Yeah, because they still believe.
That I believe that, no, America would do the right thing.
Right.
And like, it was a landslide victory and they stole it, and we just will never figure out how. And I still think there's plenty of ways to still feel this election was stolen.
Agreed.
Without it having to delve into like Elon Musk controls the internet. I honestly just think voter suppression and gerrymandering and voter ID laws and stuff like that is enough. And people disregarded that stuff and trivialized it and went, so what's really racist is thinking black people can't get a license so they can vote. Whatever the fuck.
Right.
I think you do that enough places, enough times, enough people will not show up for whatever reasons, and they disenfranchise different groups on purpose. They're scaring people who are immigrants. Even if they have the legal right to vote, they're putting up signs like you better not be in here voting being brown and shit. You got of course black people getting like literal like suppression in our neighborhoods, the amount of voting boxes we get, voting locations, the hours being changed. You got that. You got students. They had a lot of new rules about, like, if you're students, we're trying to change it so a student can't place a vote
on campus
or wherever they're from. Just so much stuff like that I don't have a heart. I still feel that you can feel this was stolen, but not it without it having to be like they changed the ones and zeros on the tally.
Right.
I think the tally was the tally.
I do too.
It's been months now. We still don't have any like of these inconsistencies where we're like, this many people said they voted, but only this many people showed up to the polling location. So we have 500 fake votes, and now we know. I really just think they wanted it more than the people that claim to be righteous people in America wanted it, because we rest a lot on our laurels and our high ground, and then we sit back and let the world be regressed and pat ourselves on the back like, well, we did the right thing, or, well, I didn't vote because these choices weren't good enough, and it's not my fault. Nothing's ever my fault. And so I don't know that. I think the hacking of America voting doesn't have to happen in a voting machine booth. I think it can happen on Twitter, on TikTok.
And it's been a slow process to get here. It's been slowly happening. And particularly the foundation of this was Hillary Clinton, and that's kind of where it started, in my opinion. And then it just kept eroding until you get to this right here. Where we are now didn't happen overnight, and so it's not going to be able to be fixed overnight. It's not going to be able to be corrected overnight. It's going to be a slow process. People are impatient and they want instant fixes, but it just, that's not how this works. And if you are not willing to sit in it and deal with it and continue to fight, and you rather be performative versus result oriented, this is the result.
Yeah, it's interesting. Cause I definitely empathize with her, and I empathize with all the people that just want to be like, it was stolen. If I had a reason to fight on that, I would, but coincidence isn't enough. And I'm not even saying this on cause I'm better than a Republican. I know when the Republicans said it was stolen, it was just cause they lost.
Yes.
They felt it was illegitimate that they could not, that anybody would outvote them. I don't know that Democrats that are saying the election was rigged or stolen, I don't know that it's coming from the same place. I mean, maybe it is. I can't speak to them. I'm not really hanging out in those circles, but I get that it looks shady, but then also, like, America is shady, and
yeah,
I don't think it takes a conspiracy to get people to do what they've done to America. And also, like, he won by 1% so we just feel defeated because he won all the swing states, and it feels like a mandate, but it's really not a mandate. But yeah, anyway, I don't know what to tell y'all. I hear Rosie. I ain't mad at her, you know.
And I understand. I just don't have that faith in America. I think that enough white people said that they wanted their racism, they wanted their guns, they wanted women not to have rights, and they wanted them immigrants out of here. Enough of them were willing to show up no matter what, and they were willing to take whatever Donald Trump was selling, even if it made no sense, even if it meant that they were not actually going to benefit from it. They didn't care. And not enough people on the other side cared enough about their fellow citizens that they claim they care about. When people posting stuff about the Jews in Palestine, all that stuff, you actually didn't care enough to actually take your asses to the booth. 19 million less people told me you did not care enough.
Yeah. Nikki Glaser, a comedian, says she fears getting death threats or detained over political humor. She was saying this, I think, at the gala for the 26th Mark Twain Prize for American Humor at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. They were celebrating Conan O'Brien. The mood took a more serious turn when she opened up on the red carpet about her concerns about using political humor. Like, you just are scared that you're going to get doxxed and death threats, or who knows where this leads, like detained. Honestly, that's not even like a joke. It's like a real fear. So it's unfortunate that that's true, but I'm not going to lie and say I don't think about that sometimes. I can be up on the gallows and say I was just joking, I'm a comedian. I hope that that's a defense. She says, on Sunday, she said that she misses being open about her point of view and formerly felt safe speaking to that. I went from being like, I don't want to talk about politics because I don't want to alienate anyone, to like, I want to talk about it, but now I'm scared to, and that's just like a shitty place to be, she added. Trump announced in February he would be appointing himself chairman of the Washington-based Performing Arts Center, firing multiple members of the board of trustees. O'Brien told reporters that he has no control over what his colleagues say during the night, according to Deadline. Well, I don't have any say of what any of my friends are doing, he said. Following Glaser's remarks on the carpet, some fellow comedians took the opportunity to mock the new administration. Sarah Silverman included a jab in her speech addressed to O'Brien, saying, "I just really miss the days when you were America's only orange asshole." Other comedians in attendance: Bill Burr, Stephen Colbert, Sean Evans, Will Ferrell, David Letterman, Kamal Nanjiani, Tracy Morgan, John Mulaney, Adam Sandler, Andy Richter, and Reggie Watts. So, and I guess it'll premiere on Netflix on May 4th. We'll see the final cut. But I do kind of understand where she's coming from on that. I do think people feel a type of fear because the amount of speed and power and just violations of the law that this administration is doing, and then the courtrooms clear it up a week or two later at best, because the speed of the rest of the country and law does not move at the speed of trying to crash out like Trump is doing.
Right.
And so it does give a feeling of like instability, a feeling of vindictiveness, of a loss of rights.
Right.
And I know the point is to give you that feeling, but the feeling is real, because if you are a comedian and they just decide somehow that they're going to lock you up or harass you or whatever, everybody will be saying it's wrong, but while they're saying it's wrong, you're in jail. Just like those activists on college campuses that are in immigration jails right now. Just like
you still have to deal with the consequences.
the people who are worried about Trump saying their pardons don't count and all this type of stuff. Those are real concerns for those people, and I can see why they would want to stay out of the spotlight.
Yeah, and I could see some comedians going, hey, I'm just not gonna talk about this topic. We can joke on everything else but him.
Right.
I can see some people going, we're not joking about him. I'm gonna actually take my craft and craft it in another direction. And even if you don't have to deal with him personally targeting you, all you have to do is get in the eyesight of one of these crazy nut jobs, and they post you in one of them message boards, and next thing you know, they're showing up to your show, showing up in your town, harassing you, following you around, and shit like that. Like because a lot of them are unstable.
Yep. Let's see. Do a couple more. Oh my God. Sorry, there's so many, but I guess what should I go with this one? Well, I'll do some short ones. Trump revoked security clearances for Biden, Harris, and Clinton, and other perceived enemies, so they won't be getting security briefings and shit like that anymore. Obviously vindictive bullshit on his part. A Cornell student who challenged Trump's executive orders targeting pro-Palestinian protesters now faces deportation. Mamadou Tall, a PhD student in Africana Studies at Cornell University, filed the suit on Saturday, hoping to prevent the administration from targeting him and others who have participated in pro-Palestinian protests. An attorney for Tall said he had been targeted by some of the same groups that had advocated for Mahmoud Khalil's arrest, and that his client feared he would be next. He is a citizen of the UK and Gambia and is in the United States on a student visa. According to court records, he was temporarily suspended from Cornell in April and September 2024 for his participation in student protests. Instead of imposing sanctions that could have affected his immigration status, the university chose to allow him to continue studying remotely until spring 2025, when his full access to the campus would be restored. In a Twitter post on Wednesday, he said law enforcement agents from an unidentified agency had been seen parked outside his home in Ithaca, New York. Trump has attempted to detain me to prevent me from having my day in court, he wrote. Yeah, that's very sad and very fucked up and wrong as hell, and I don't even know what to tell you, because these people being in charge are in charge. So whatever the recourses are, they are part of the final say on those recourses.
Yes, they are.
And a lot of the stuff they're doing, they're just not following any procedures or rules. Some of the people being locked up, yeah, some of the people that are like running up on folks, they don't even really know like where they from, and like they're saying like we were ICE, and then later you find out they were Homeland Security or some shit.
Right.
Like
they be lying to people.
They don't give a fuck about your rights. They don't give a fuck about that. Like I like I said, I'm not saying this out of a gloating place or even like the ride was right type shit. It's just, this is what I was afraid of. This is what I was talking about. You can try and look, if you want to hold your breath and like really stand firm and be 10 toes down and just, we gonna see which one of us gives up first on this, fine. But I can't see a scenario where any of this gets any better until somebody admits, hey, this is worse.
Yes.
And I just don't know why that's so hard for people. I'm seeing it, some people slowly come around, but there's a whole lot of people doing equivocating and trying to come across like this ain't shit, or like this is exactly what Kamala and would have did. And it's like, it's not. It is okay, but nothing's gonna change in this country, if anything can change, until somebody say we fucked up. And you're not going to get it from the side of the people who said this administration will be worse than Kamala and Biden would have been, because this is worse. Like, you'd have to turn a blind eye to the fact that this is worse. And if you want to say, well, degrees of worse don't matter, I think it do matter. I think it matters when you're locked up in a place because you protested and used your First Amendment rights. I think it matters when an administration is taking away hundreds of millions of dollars in funding from these universities, who of course are going to cower to those. They're going to cower to the $400 million they don't have. They're going to cower to the administration that wants to lock up. They got their university president fired and wants to lock up their professors and shit. Like, it's not fair. It's not right, but we knew it was unfair. We knew it wasn't right. And yeah, so now we're here, and I don't feel bad. I don't feel good. I mean, I don't feel good for these people. I don't take any solace in. I'm not, like, I see people partying like, oh, he told you. I don't feel that. I feel sad. Where it's just like, shit, man. Like, because
I didn't want to see anybody suffer. And
the thing that I think really just got lost over the last couple of years, and it's just, and I tried to make sure that our show never took this tone, and I'm proud of that, because I've seen a lot of other shows where you lose focus for a little bit, you get mad, and then you start saying shit that you really shouldn't be saying if you're on the right side. But this whole, like, you know, fuck y'all gonna fuck around, find out. Oh, don't nobody care about your little fifis. Oh, you crying? They don't even, oh, they in Palestine, they not over here. I didn't even want to say none of that shit, because I agree with the people's underlying point, which is,
yes,
this war is pointless. It is going too far. You are killing people that had nothing to do with the shit. Right. Kids are dying, hospitals being bought. Who the fuck's supposed to look at these images and be like, this is a good thing? Yeah, keep going. I don't have that in me or whatever, and I understand I'm not Jewish. I understand I'm not from Israel. I understand I ain't never dealt with whatever the terrorism that they're saying they're dealing with. But even with all that, I remember after 9/11, it wasn't good that people, well, let's just go bomb some other countries. Like, that doesn't fix what the fuck just happened.
Agreed.
So, like, we can use this basically go to war free card, but there's a cost to be paid for giving into your worst impulses. And so anyway, my point being, like, none of this is celebratory. It's just fucked up, and they're gonna violate these people's rights, and there's not gonna be shit done about it. Because at the end of the day, you're hoping that a courtroom and some laws can fix it. But by if they do prevail in court, how much of their time will be spent behind bars before that? And if they don't prevail in court, you're kicking people out who are here on green cards legally using their First Amendment right. You're kicking them out, and they got a pregnant wife. You're kicking them out, and they had a job on campus. It's just fucking sad.
Yep, and I 100% agree. And it's also one of those things where we keep saying this, and I will say it again, it's going to have to get worse. I think that for a lot of people, this shit hasn't hit their houses yet, so they actually don't care.
Yeah.
And they don't want to seem callous, and they don't want to seem cold, but that's how you appear to people. I mean, they don't want to accept that that's the reality of it. But
what do you mean? You seem
like,
callous and cold?
It's like a lot of the people, like you say, cheering that other people are suffering.
They are callous and cold. They don't appearing that.
Yeah,
that's if somebody is having their rights violated and you're touchdown dancing like, bitch, we told y'all, like, yes, it is callous and cold. It's not two ways to look at it. I'm not trying to say this from the moral high horse of like, because I would never. I'm saying, even if I felt that way, I would be being callous to the suffering that these people are experiencing.
Right.
I like, that's why I'm making a point. I don't even take solace in being right. It's just,
I would prefer to be wrong.
Yeah, it's like seeing something that you knew was preventable and being like, well, if you keep doing that, something bad gonna happen, and it's not something you want to happen to the person. It's like, I feel differently when you see, like, I'm a Trump supporter and they deported my wife. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not above that. I will be like, fuck you, that's fucked up, and I don't give a fuck. I don't feel sad for you, really. But there's a lot of people I do feel sad for, because I'm like, I know you wanted the best. I don't think you gave in to like racist impulses. You could have, but I don't think that's what happened.
Most people know.
At least not consciously.
Right.
And now look at you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and all this shit is about to calm down. Like, when people say stuff like, man, I don't see y'all protesting Trump and them, it's like, you don't see it as often, but it will happen. Some of them are still doing stuff like that. The difference is now they will probably be sent out of this country, locked up, criminalized, whatever, in a way, kicked out of school, like whatever. You're going to see consequences that weren't there before.
Agreed.
That, even when people were capitulating to their Jewish donors or whoever was like financing their schools, these penalties weren't carceral. They were, hey man, you're going to have to go off campus and do remote learning for however long. You can disagree. You can think that's wrong, whatever. This is one of the costs of protesting. Protesting will always be met with resistance, or else it's just not protest.
Right.
So I'm not going to judge either way on that, but this is different. Now the consequences now are elevated, and it's just sad, man. I hate to see it. Okay. Let's see. What was the other thing? After all these years of them talking about what about her emails, Hillary Clinton, why is she using private email? After the RNC and the DNC getting hacked and by Russia and but only the DNC's shit showing up. Anyway, after accusing Kamala Harris of being a security threat and all this shit because she used like Wi-Fi headphones or some shit. These motherfuckers, Peter Hegseth and some other Republicans, was using the group chat to orchestrate a bombing of another country and accidentally left the editor-in-chief for The Atlantic on the thread.
How sweat? Oh, okay. Okay. I have a quick. Aren't these meetings supposed to be in person? Like, y'all not supposed to be typing this shit out, right? Like, am I going crazy?
I would assume I'm not in the military.
I'm assuming there's something about confidentiality here. I'm
not in the military, Karen. So I don't have whatever. I guess these questions you're asking are clearly rhetorical. Okay. How the hell would I know that
My bad.
Shit? But what I would assume is, being how we have never, ever, ever heard of this happening before in the history of America, I would assume somebody fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't necessarily need to be an expert on the turning the two keys for the nuclear codes at the same time. I don't really need to have a nuclear football to know. I know what it's like when you hit reply all to the office. I do know that feeling. These motherfuckers was conducting a fucking war strategy meeting in in an app.
I'm assuming a public app in order for you.
Well, I don't know if it's public. I don't know what the rule, but it didn't appear to be like a secret military app.
Right.
Like, what the fuck is this? It was a group text, a group chat. Like, hey man, thinking about bombing Yemen. Oh, I better emoji react to this one. Laughing emoji.
Did they Did they exclamation point it?
Yeah. And
did somebody thumbs down it?
And you included a motherfucker in the media whose whole job is to tell.
I'm about to say that's their whole job.
And they was doing this before the shit happened, obviously. They were planning it in the group chat. Meaning this reporter could have gone public and been like, hey, I got a scoop. They about to bomb these 3 locations in this country. They could have. Now he didn't, but then he did go on some like some places like on the news and tell people afterwards, like, yeah, I was in that group chat. I told them to take me out. Which he's a better man than many people who would have just stayed in the group chat, like, you know, like looking eyes emoji and shit, you know.
I wouldn't have said a word.
I'm sure some worse shit would have happened soon if they was that reckless.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, the message thread that was reported appears to be authentic, and we are reviewing how an inadvertent number was added to the chain, said National Security Council.
Because they shouldn't have been on that app.
It's the group chat. It's the text. So I don't even know it's an app. Here's the thing, though. I keep coming back to. These motherfuckers are DEI hires. This is what happens when you put people in, and I don't mean DEI in the correct way. I mean in the way that they talk about it.
Yes, the way that they say.
It's not about merit. These motherfuckers are the definition of what they say DEI is.
Because none of them are qualified for these jobs.
When you give a Fox News host the head of the military position who has no qualifications,
no military experience,
he might just use a text chain to do war. He might do shit like that. Why? Because he don't know what the fuck he doing. He not supposed to be doing any of this. The statement came in response to an article published Monday by the Atlantic's Jeffrey Goldberg, a veteran national security and foreign affairs journalist. Goldberg reported he had been added to a group chat called Houthi PC Small Group on March 13th. So did they think he was just a different Jeff?
I bet you they did. I bet you somebody didn't clarify which Jeff.
It was Signal, which is an encrypted messaging service widely believed to be more secure than other commercial texting apps. So it was an app, but it was a commercial texting app, meaning not the private military shit that whatever way they supposed to communicate.
Mm-hmm. Which means you can go somewhere and just download it.
In the article, he describes his initial skepticism, recalling that he discussed with colleagues whether the text were part of a disinformation campaign initiated by either a foreign intelligence service or more likely a media gadfly organization seeking to embarrass journalists. So he's like, it must be a setup.
Right, because of his job, right.
Yeah, then he went on to receive a series of messages on Signal that appeared to come from J.D. Vance, Peter Hegseth, Mark Rubio, and Michael Walls.
I bet you they'll probably use their real names in them shits too.
Right. Asked by a reporter Monday how the information was shared, he made disparaging remarks about with a journalist. Hegseth made disparaging remarks about Goldberg, calling him a so-called journalist. Nobody was texting war plans. That's all I have to say about that. Goldberg responded to Hegseth's remarks during an MSNBC interview on Monday night. He can say that it wasn't a war plan, but it was a minute-by-minute accounting of what was about to happen according to CENTCOM. This is their plan, and he was taking their plan and sharing it with a bunch of civilian leaders, said Jen Psaki. So here's my thing. If they calling you a lie, just go ahead and put the group chat out there. That'll shut them up.
But they're not gonna do that because you would tell them.
I'm talking about him.
Oh, him. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I had screenshots and everything. I
put the whole group chat out there.
I would have posted I'm a motherfucking lie. Post, bitch. I'm a goddamn lie.
Right. Fuck out of here.
I'm a so-called journalist. Kiss my ass.
Right.
And I normally don't do shit like that, but for integrity reasons, particularly if this is my job and this is what the fuck I do, my whole job is fucking journalism investigation, bitch.
You can end this shit today. You can end this shit right now. Like, okay, y'all wasn't. Well, here's what was happening. But yeah, it's just ridiculous bullshit. Last thing, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez shades Kirsten Sinema for losing her seat in the Senate.
I'm glad she lost her seat.
Yeah, she apparently was, I guess, speaking at a rally in Tempe, Arizona. Her and Bernie Sanders are doing these like rallies right now. They're like, I guess, honestly, I think they're doing the rallies to try to create a new leadership structure and be the leaders of the Democrats because the party is in disarray. I would imagine nobody's happy with Schumer's leadership. A lot of people aren't happy with Hakeem Jeffries' leadership, but part of the reason they're not happy with his leadership is because he's black. So that's a little.
I take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, that one's a little iffy for me. I'm not saying he's the greatest or the worst. It just feels a little iffy to me the way that they are moving the bar on him because he is keeping his house in order. His people are moving in the way he tells them to move, and typically that has been enough for us to be like, that is a good leader of the house.
Agreed.
But for some reason when he does it, it's not good enough. He gotta be angry and express himself differently or something. I don't know. Anyway, so Bernie and her, they're doing these rallies, and I ain't gonna lie, I feel two ways about it. The first being how I've told y'all on the show many times, and I will stick to this. Not my job to fix it. Somebody need to fix it. I really don't care how it gets done. And anything anyone wants to try, I'm not going to knock you for trying. Because if the shit works, I'm going to be eternally grateful. Anything to help get this country back, I'm with it. Period. That's it. Everybody that's needed to be a specific fucking way, to me, those are the people that are the fucking problem. Everybody's like, I would never do. There's nobody over here I would never. So if somehow Bernie does whatever the fuck it takes, and we back here in 2020 whatever 2027, and he's like, yeah, I know I'm older than Joe Biden, but everybody fuck with me, and they all talking about I'm winning all the primaries, and they coming to my rallies. My black ass gonna get a Bernie shirt, and I'm gonna be voting. Because I'm not like these other motherfuckers. It's like, yeah, I ain't get my way, I'm going home. I don't need perfect.
Yeah, I can vote for you and still say fuck you.
Yeah, Bernie, it's not even fuck you for Bernie to me. I will absolutely vote for that man. That's not the problem for me. I like his policies. I think he moves in some shady ways, the way that he does the rest of the party, as if he's not part of the party and all this shit, and takes credit for shit that Democrats do and shits on Democrats for stuff that Democrats are doing.
Pick a side.
That he also then goes on to say he would do. It's some weird shit. He's always kind of antagonistic towards the party, but if that is enough to fool people into thinking he's different than the Democrats, I'm cool with it. Same thing for AOC. If enough people think she's different enough of a flavor from the Democrats that they're like, supporting her doesn't make me feel the same as supporting Democrats, so I'm gonna vote for her. Okay, whatever.
Right.
Just
whatever
get the votes, dummy. Like, if you stupid, I can't help you being stupid. But her policies were all throughout the Green New Deal.
Yes, they were.
Biden passed it. There's a reason she was quiet for the last 4 years. Because Biden was over there doing the shit she needed him to do, and she understood the game. But okay, whatever. So that's the first way I feel. Is, all right, cool. Hope it works. Of course, the second way I feel is I cannot help but feel that the bar is lowered for AOC and for Bernie compared to what it was for Kamala.
Agreed.
And I'm sorry, but nobody's going to be able to stop me from feeling that way. Because I have eyes and I can see. When they go out to these Republican districts and talk to the Republican constituents, and when they have Republicans come to their rallies, nobody's talking about how they're centrist. Nobody's talking about how their policies and their rallies and their speaking points are really for conservative people, and that's why we can't trust them. Nobody's saying that for them. That's just being that's not capitulating. That's not compromising. That's not both sides. That they're somehow still able to retain their it's all about the working class Democratic coalition or whatever. And I begrudge that. When I see him get credit for a rally of 25,000 people in a place where Kamala Harris has 75,000 people, and someone saying this is the real base of the Democratic Party, and I'm like, so a 50,000 less person rally is a statement right now?
Right.
That's the base right now. And when I look around at the base and it's monochromatic in these locations,
come on now,
I can't help but notice that, man. And so I don't feel whatever this rallying cry that people think they're feeling, but I hope others are feeling it, even if I'm not. I hope enough people, because once again, I know I'm not the person that needs to be goaded into voting, so maybe these people will identify with the anger and go vote. But to me, this feels the same as we need to capitulate to the centrist as they were just decrying a few months ago. It was just the wrong strategy, and no one was excited for it a few months ago, and then this old ass white man does it, and now it's
the best thing ever.
It's the best shit of all time. And now polls matter. Someone texted me before the show about a poll where in this poll it was like, man, I was surprised black people in this poll support Bernie the most. Like they was 62% favorable and this percent not favorable, and white people actually still were like 1% not favorable. Like 43% don't like him, 42% do. And it's a fucking poll. It means nothing to me.
Nothing.
It means nothing to me. Only thing that's gonna matter is if he can do this when it's time to vote, right? When it's a primary. When it's a primary, what are the black
down south?
What are the black voters gonna do? Because a poll on social media or wherever you're conducting it, we didn't learn nothing from the poll that said Kamala was gonna run away with this thing because Iowa moms were supporting her and shit. Like poll don't mean nothing. I can't be excited by a poll. I can't be excited by a rally that's smaller than a Kamala Harris rally.
Agreed.
If her campaign is what losing looks like, and I said this is gonna be a problem. If her campaign is what losing looks like, I have never seen a campaign that looks like winning. And you won't be able to convince me ever again that someone's campaign is a winning campaign. It's just gonna be what happens in the voting booth, and I won't retroactively go back and fix it and go, "Oh no, man, I guess I was wrong. That is what it looks like." No, I don't know, and nobody knows. That's it. But anyway, I do appreciate AOC talking this shit because she talked about Kirsten Sinema. She says that means in our communities, each and every one of us choosing and voting for Democrats and elected officials who know how to stand for the working class. And Tempe, I want to give you your flowers for a second because you all have been working overtime to make that happen. In fact, one thing I love about Arizona is that you all have shown that if a U.S. senator isn't fighting hard enough for you, you're not afraid to replace her with one who will and win. And that's how you got two fantastic senators in Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallego. So clearly she's shooting shots at Sinema, which I love that she's shooting shots at Sinema. Mm-hmm. And Arizona would need to be the test case for America. We need more of that. I will never knock, period. I will never knock any of these people that keep that same energy, vote out a Democrat that they feel like is not to the left enough, and put somebody better in. You will get zero pushback from me. I have no loyalty to any single politician in any party. My thing is, you better keep the same energy. You keep the same energy, I ain't got shit to say to you, because I'm with that. But I just don't like that we mad on Twitter on a Tuesday in February and then the motherfucker gets reelected. And it's like, so y'all didn't mean none of that shit? Y'all didn't keep that same energy?
Right, you just talking.
Y'all just gonna be mad again next time they do something? No, get them the fuck out of there.
Vote.
So yeah, I agree with her there, and I hope it works. I really do hope. I'm not gonna shit on her and Bernie. I really hope this shit works. I would love for it to work. And I understand people would be hypocrites if it worked. And I think it would just solidify my point, which is, so y'all just didn't want a black woman.
Yes, sir.
It's just you're never gonna get anything deeper out of me than that, because there's nothing about these rallies they're holding that I feel is transformative or better. They're just not a black woman, and that's it. So, anything else, Karen? All right, cool. I'm mad enough. We can move out of this segment. We we gotta start wrapping it up soon, so I'll try to get into something a little more fun.
Okay.
Look at my segments, see what I would like to do. You know what? Let's do a little bit of fucking with black people. It could be fun. It doesn't always have to be sad. Let me see. Some fucking with black people music.
Fucking with black people. Fucking with black people. Fucking with black people. Fucking with black people.
Parent upset after she says teacher had students pick cotton during history lesson. Wait a cotton picking minute. Oh, sorry, that was playing the wrong sound effect. Maybe that's what they mean by that. But yeah, I'll see if I can play the article.
Okay.
I can show it to y'all here, but I don't. Let me know if y'all get an echo or whatnot. I'll try to change the sound if you do. But here's what happened apparently. And this is from this year. This isn't a repeat.
The school district says the assignment this week was intended to teach students about the invention of the cotton gin. But one of the students' mothers says she would have liked to have known about the lesson beforehand, not just for her, but her child as well.
My child felt very uncomfortable.
This is like our news. WBTV.
No
Sponsored
shit.
by Bojangles.
Yes,
This
it
shit
is.
happen here?
This is surrounding county.
This some local sizzle?
Right? This happened in CMS.
Union County mother asked to stay
Union County.
anonymous
I know it was
County,
close.
yeah.
to protect her middle schooler, but says inside a Porter Ridge classroom, the teacher had students pick cotton to explain the impact of the cotton gin, which was created in the late 18th century during the Industrial Revolution.
I was very scared because I didn't know how my child was feeling on the inside and how this would affect my child long term.
This parent says her child, along with 2 other classmates, told the principal about it. In a statement, Union County Public Schools wrote in part, quote, "There were no references to race or slavery during the assignment." Going on to write, administrators are taking this assignment very seriously.
There were so many other examples and things that you could have used than to actually bring a physical plant in and have a child reenact picking cotton.
For this parent,
I do have questions in that, like, was it just this one child picking cotton? Did everybody pick cotton? But then, like, the black kid felt uncomfortable about it and told their parent. Were other black kids picking cotton and didn't have a problem? Like, I do have many, many questions about it. If it wasn't about black history, it wasn't about slavery, it was about the cotton gin, that does make me feel differently than if it would have been about those things. Like if it was like, this is a lesson about slavery. Blackie, come up here and let's show everybody how you used to do it.
Yeah, I need more details. I know that might sound wild, but I actually need more details as to actually what happened and, like, I don't want to say the plan, but a little bit more details.
Black people are very sensitive about it, and the sensibilities clearly weren't taken into account. But also I understand if you're doing a lesson plan about the cotton gin, I see how you can get to, and then we'll bring in a cotton plant. People can see what it's like to pick the cotton, and then we'll,
if anything, a teacher could have picked the cotton.
Yeah, or just even if you let the students do it, like let's say the class was all white people. No one's reporting anything because there's no racial element to report.
Right.
So, like, I do understand how you can miss this in a lesson plan, especially a colorblind lesson plan where you're not even thinking about this shit. You're like, what? No, all the kids picked the cotton. What's the problem?
she says she would have liked to know ahead of time if the hands-on learning would include something that she'd consider sensitive.
Think before you do, because this could have really affected a child in a negative way. And unfortunately, the parents were made aware to try to stop that from happening.
Union County Public Schools ended their statement about this assignment saying, quote, "We are committed to continuing to work with teachers to discuss best practices for instruction." In the newsroom tonight.
Yeah, and I have a lot of questions. Like,
why you make the kids sing a Negro spiritual?
now, that'd have been a Jakaris. I would have wanted to know: is this a veteran teacher? How long had they been doing this lesson plan? Like I have a lot of questions that I would like to ask.
Okay. Well, 0 to 100, what would you rate this?
This, until I get more, like, I actually need more information. Right now, I'm going to give it a 50. Like, I have a lot of questions that were not answered in this news article that will determine where the score goes from there.
Yeah, I hate to sound like a coon, but I'm gonna give this a 25 because I really don't think I understand that she may be very sensitive to this, but I really think if my kid told me this happened, I would not feel a way about it. Like, I would only feel a way if there was like, it was for Black History Month or it was about slavery or something like that. But just the idea of kids, like, this is how people used to pick cotton. And it's like, okay. And or if they singled my kid out, if it was like, just the Black kid come pick cotton, I would definitely feel a way. And maybe that is what happened. But just the idea of picking cotton to me is not the same. So yeah, I don't feel fucked with, but at the same time, I don't feel fucked with it. I just had to, honestly, 0. I don't feel fucked with it. I feel bad that she feels bad.
Right.
But I don't feel bad myself.
And that's more of what it is. And it's also one of the things where, like I said, I need more questions because you do have a generation of Black people that just bringing up anything related to it, they'll shut down.
Yeah.
And they just don't want the conversation to happen. I was like, well, this is not benefiting anybody, baby.
Yeah, and honestly, that's a lot of people's personal trauma and shit. And like, one of the things, not to get too deep, but one of the things that I'm staunchly just aware of these days, and have been for a while, especially after going to therapy, too many people have unresolved trauma that they expect the world to deal with and not them to deal with.
Agreed.
And so if you are in a place where your child can't learn about the cotton gin without you feeling like I'm gonna be triggered, I just don't even know. Like, you have to go take care of that, because what we don't want to do is have a world where nobody learns about the cotton gin.
Agreed.
Now, that being said, if you think having the cotton in there is also somehow triggering and all that stuff, maybe you can talk to the administration. Maybe next time they won't do it this way, like
But it still needs to be discussed.
On the off chance that one person will be triggered by it or whatever. It's not like a group of Black people is mad. It's not the NAACP isn't involved. Like, it's one parent that feels a way, and I respect that they feel that way. But I would not. I'd be lying if I was on here being like, goddamn racist ass school. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Right. And also, like I said, I think for me, too many people, and I understand that when it comes to a lot of these things, Black people are very sensitive to that. But also, there are a lot of people that are so sensitive to it that anytime it's brought up, like I said, they literally want to shut the conversation down. And that doesn't benefit anybody. And y'all want to shut the conversation down, and the white supremacists want to shut the conversation down. I mean, the conversation never happens.
Yeah,
nobody learns.
But see, that's the thing, though. This isn't even a conversation about it. You see what I'm saying? Like, I could see if they were talking about slavery or Black history or whatever. Like, it's March. It's not even Black History Month. To just be like, hey, this is a lesson about the cotton gin. To me, I'm not going to move in that way.
Yeah, and when I mean quote unquote discussion, it's like anything around that would allude that slavery might be involved, people just shut down. Like, like it doesn't have to be a directly one-to-one correlation.
I know what I'm saying. I know what you're saying. I'm not understanding what you're saying.
Okay.
I'm saying so then just don't learn about it. We don't learn about the cotton gin in this state.
No, I don't want that.
Right. That's because that's where you have to arrive. Well, you can't separate the cotton gin from slavery. Right. I agree.
Right.
Now what? Because basically don't teach slavery. Don't teach anything that make people feel anything.
Right. That doesn't benefit anybody.
Like we can weaponize our hurt feelings and trauma into a place that arrives in the same place white supremacy is, which is, I don't want people learning about anything racial in America. And a lot of times Black people will, without thinking about it, end up being used in the same way, because that's the one place where you and a white supremacist will touch and agree. Hey, I don't want my kids to learn about slavery. Cool. I don't want my kids to learn about slavery either. looks like we finally agree on something. Blackie, now get your ass out of here.
All right.
Meanwhile, we're gonna hopefully we can get y'all back in the fields to pick some cotton tomorrow. Like
Ain't
we passing laws to make y'all pick cotton now because you didn't learn shit about it back then. But once again, I would feel differently. I think if this was like one of those things where you take a tour of a plantation, they're like, let's pick cotton. I think that is too far. That is wrong to me to do that. But this, I don't know. I don't feel that way.
Yeah, and actually, like I said, I just need more information.
Yeah, and maybe there's some information missing out of the report because, like I said, if it was only the black kid or something, I could feel that way. I don't know.
Yeah, I need more details.
Yeah, like y'all, like the assumption has to be that this was racist from inception,
right?
Or something racist happened, and we don't need proof. And I just do need proof.
I do too.
This is a court of law on the Blackout Tips. Okay, we take this shit seriously up in here. So
not a gavel.
We need proof. You can't just be going off vibes. I need to know that maybe the teacher was racist and the kid knows it, but we don't know it because we not in the class.
It's too many.
It could be a lot of stuff.
Yes, I was saying.
I just
too
need
many
something.
Pieces to the puzzle missing. Like I said, the puzzle is not completed to me.
I just need something. That's all. Anyway. Let's do some guess the race and then we'll wrap this bad boy up. Cause we gotta get out of here in a little bit. Here we go.
This time for guess the race. This time for guess the race. This time for guess the race. This time for guess the race.
Also, I do need people to be honest and say that if they sent y'all a fucking text or email talking about, so we're gonna be learning about the cotton gin, and we may bring in a cotton plant into the thing, and we may allow the kids to pick cotton. Don't act like y'all wouldn't be offended by that too. You know, y'all be like, why the fuck you sending me this? What? So what? It's gonna be racist in there? Just teach the lesson. Stop wasting my time.
A lot of parents be very upset.
Then after they pick the cotton, God damn it, son of a bitch, this racist administration. Anyway.
They sure would.
We are on edge. Florida man arrested for a lap dance heist. A man's been arrested for a lap dance heist. According to criminal complaint, John Elberson, 39, unlawfully obtained the property of another to wit lap dances of the value of $160.
Oh shit! So he spent somebody else's money apparently.
Right. And Ogun, I don't know who you're arguing with in the chat, but it ain't us. I didn't say you can separate the cotton gin from slavery. I'm just saying that the lesson wasn't on. That's not what the lesson was. And I would give it 100 if the lesson was, today we learning about slavery. Let's go pick some cotton. And Ogun 7, if you don't agree, you just a different type of nigga than me. I think that's way worse than what we just talked about. All right.
I need more information.
Florida cops charged that the lap dances were the property of Rain Ladies and Gents, a Clearwater establishment that promises visitors an atmosphere of opulence and grandeur, where every corner of our venue radiates an air of exclusivity.
Is it a gentleman's club or a strip club?
Elberson allegedly received several lap dances around 1:30 a.m. Tuesday, but when presented with the tab, he notified the business that he did not have the funds to pay for the gyration ministrations. They put that part in there. He didn't say that. They put that in the article.
That's hilarious.
He received $160 worth of services. Now, do you charge? I think you should also charge them the tip amount. So don't just go 160. It's like 160 plus you supposed to tip $40 or whatever, $200. He displayed an indication of alcohol influence. Now, did he come in drunk or was he buying drinks and then was like, what I can't afford is these lap dances?
He must have just had bottle money.
He spent 12 hours in jail before a judge released him on his own recognizance and ordered the Apollo Beach resident to stay away from Rain's opulence and exclusivity. In November, a Pennsylvania man was also charged with something similar, but just $40. I wonder how many lap dances $160 is.
And that's a good question.
Because I don't go to the strip club, so I don't know what they charge.
I don't know what the hourly rate is.
And then the other question I have is, when is everyone just getting lap dances on credit? I was under the assumption you paid as the dances go.
Me too.
I didn't know you could like rack up a bill.
Right, a lap dances.
It's like lap dance $40. Okay, I'll take 10, and I'll settle up at the bar later. Like anyway, guess the race of Mr. John Elberson.
White.
Let's check the chat room. See what they believe.
$160.
All right.
I don't know if that's expensive or not. I don't know.
Yeah, it feels expensive, but you're right. I ain't been in a strip club in a long time, and I don't know the inflation. Yeah. I know eggs cost a lot.
I don't know the going rates. Yeah, if eggs cost more, strippers and lap dancers went up too.
White, released on recognizance. White, y'all don't take EBT. Black, I lost my back it up voucher. White. The correct answer is white. Of course, a couple people said black, and they got it wrong. Man, yeah, I assume white just because I didn't know you could get lap dances on credit.
Me either. I thought that was like, you need to pay for this per lap dance.
Maybe it's races in the system, and I just didn't know that. The whole system is like, no, you actually can get credit for these, but black people pay as they go. You got to pay up front, blackie. Now come pick this cotton.
In the back of the room.
A Florida woman who's already behind bars is facing fresh charges after police say she previously walked into a Dairy Queen, put a gun on employees, and made off with $1.50 in loose change.
Damn, they weren't expecting that frosty reception.
She got out of there before the cops came. I guess she banana split. Wonder what day.
2 scoops and run.
You know what day of the week she robbed them?
When?
Sunday. 44-year-old.
I guess she couldn't fudge her way through that one.
According to Coconut Creek Police, 44-year-old Allison Fetting allegedly walked into Winston Park Plaza Dairy Queen earlier this year, flashed a firearm, demanded money. But when employees couldn't get the register open, she ended up settling for whatever she could grab, which is $1.50 from the restaurant tip jar.
Well, damn.
You know it's Dairy Queen, and they just like, no one shops here, man. You ain't never seen a full Dairy Queen. Okay, we don't know how to open the register.
This shit is time.
This is 2025. We pay with Apple Pay and shit.
Right, and there's no cash in here. I'm surprised they ain't looked at her like, this joint is cashless.
No one was injured during the February incident. The robbery didn't make headlines at the time. She was officially charged Friday, March 21st. That's another thing. She went and robbed them during February, so it was extra not money in the cash register. It's too cold to be fucking with ice cream right now.
It's not ice cream season. Should wait till spring.
Right. She's like, y'all ain't sold no ice cream all day. It's like, ma'am, it's Dairy Queens and it's 20 degrees.
Right? What do you expect?
What are you smoking? Give us some.
You and the crazy people that like ice cream at 20 degrees are the only people that's going to be in here.
She was already in jail on unrelated robbery and drug charges. She previously served 3 years in state prison for aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, grand theft, and battery on a law enforcement officer.
Damn.
Guess the race of Mrs. Allison Fetting.
White.
Or Miss Allison Fetting. I don't want to assume she's married. I'm sorry, everyone. Karen says white. You sure you don't mean vanilla? Let's check the chat room. Vanilla says Brian. Okay, great minds. Think alike. White says Nerdy the Sensei.
You know what her favorite flavor is? Nutty Buddy.
Okay, I don't get it, but sure.
Oh, because she's crazy.
Oh, because, okay. She's nuts. I get
Yes.
All right, I'll accept it. It's fine.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. White, Dairy Queen white, vanilla. Everyone went white on this one. Everyone, you got it correct. She's white. Yeah.
Oh, very white.
Mm-hmm. You know how she was able to escape too?
How?
Because outside it was a blizzard. All right. Let's go to
That's
the
hilarious.
final round. Karen is you're 2 for 2, right?
Yes. Woo!
All right, so let's go more racist. Where is my more racist version? What? Guess the race. Why am I drawing the piano version? That's not right.
Shit.
There we go.
What time is it? That the bitch was white!
I ain't racist.
How can I be racist about
Anyone
anybody or
anything
anything in my life? How can I?
Call them niggas. Just call them niggas.
It's time to get
Gold chain wearing, fried chicken and biscuit eating, monkey ate baboon, big guy, fast running, high jumping, spear chucking, 360-degree basketball.
All right, let's go to the last one, Karen.
Okay.
See if you can have a perfect day.
Gonna try.
A Georgia man opened the rear door of a police car, climbed in, and told the cop at the wheel he wanted a ride home.
Oh.
Your home's the Bel Air.
Treat him like a rideshare service.
At around 10 p.m. Friday night, Andrew Davison, 31, allegedly entered the vehicle and shut the door while there was a human being to wit Officer K. Thomas in the conveyance. So Officer K. Thomas is sitting in there, and he pulled up and said, "Oh, this must be my Uber." The conveyance in question was stationed at a St. Petersburg, Florida street, and the cruiser's emergency lights were flashing. He's like, "Cool, you already got the lights on. It's an emergency. I need to get home, use bathroom. Let's go." The defendant stated that he wanted a ride home. According to
I got to drop you off somewhere else first for you make it home.
Davis, right? I pulled up to the police station around 7 or 8.
Right.
Davison lives in Statesboro, city about 55 miles south from Savannah. Court records do not indicate what he was doing in St. Petersburg or where he was staying, but Officer Kristen Thomas noted that the accused man showed an indication of alcohol influence. You don't say. You don't say. Really? Wow.
You don't say he was drunk.
He bonded out of jail Saturday night after posting $500 on a misdemeanor charge. He has pled not guilty. All right, Karen, guess the race of Mr. Andrew Davison.
Oh, white. You're the only person that's going to jump into a flashing police car and demand that they take you home.
They do feel privileged.
Yeah.
To think they work for you.
Yeah. Right. Your tax money at work.
Right. Even though he was drunk. Like, maybe you don't think a black person could get so drunk that they hop in the back of a police car and there's not enough alcohol in the world?
Not enough alcohol nor picking cotton that can make a difference.
The chat room says, I don't see any guesses in the chat room. Just alrighty, y'all. Okay. All right. That's not a race. Well, I got time to go. I got to get out of it. White hat trick today. Take him home, bro. White. Take me home, bro. White. Okay. The correct answer is white. Karen, you said that was authority. You was 100% sure he was white.
Yeah. I would have been shocked otherwise.
Yeah. That was very white. First of all, hopping in the back of any car and telling them what to do is already white.
Giving demands,
I don't even feel that confident when it is my Uber.
Right? I'll be double checking.
I'll be like, hey, I'm good. Everybody good? We cool? All right, let's go back to my house. You already know the directions. All right, last thing, we got to talk about sword ratchetness, and then we're going to get out of here. All right. Let's see. Officers from Evolve Everton Vauxhall have seized a samurai sword and arrested a 14-year-old male from Kirkdale. The officers were on a plainclothes patrol on the evening of Friday the 14th March when they spotted a teenager on an electric bike acting suspiciously. When officers approached the male, he discarded the bike and ran off, but was detained a short while later and found to be in possession of a samurai sword. The 14-year-old male from Kirkdale was arrested on suspicion of possession of a bladed article in a public place and taken to a police station on Merseyside for questioning. He was subsequently released under investigation.
Wow, 14.
Yeah. Babies cutting babies.
Apparently
That's what I
so.
always say. Tackling knife crime is a priority for the force. We are determined to take our communities safer for generations. Blah, blah, blah. Zero tolerance to knives. Well, I'm glad they're getting them early. You know, catch them early, catch them often. Keep these knives and swords off the street.
Please do.
All right, y'all. That's it for today's show. Thanks for listening. We'll be back. We appreciate you. Until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody. Have a good rest of your night. Peace.